welcome to the Knitting with Cat Hair podcast. My name is Nikki. I'm also known as Knitting with Cat Hair on Instagram and Cat Hair Knitting on Ravelry. I'm coming to you from Sudbury, Ontario, Canada, which lies atop the traditional lands of the Tigamish and Anishinaabe people, where I live with my partner, our 2 daughters, and our 5 cats. And if this is your first time here, a big warm welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, a big welcome back. I really appreciate all of you guys taking time out of your busy days to spend with me. First off, I apologize for the delay in recording. Our family was unfortunately struck with COVID a few weeks ago, and I'm only kind of getting back to normal now. So I do have a little bit of a cough going on, which I'm going to try and control and edit out if possible. But please bear with me. And I'm just excited to talk to you guys again. It's been so long. So I hope everyone's doing well and getting lots of making done. Okay, so we'll start with what I'm wearing. So today I'm wearing my Humlebi shawl, which is a pattern by Lerka of FiberTales. I'm just going to stand up so I can show it to you a little better. Hopefully you can see the little beautiful little bees and flowers on there. I just love this shawl. I'm wearing it totally inspired by Casey and Becky of the Young Folk Knits podcast, which is a wonderful podcast, by the way, if you haven't seen it before. They were both wearing their Humlebi shawls on their latest podcast, and they just looked so beautiful in them. And I thought, yes, I should dig out mine. I had put it away for winter kind of thing, even though it's made out of merino, but it's such a summery color to me. It's perfect for spring. So we're finally getting some spring weather. So here I am wearing my spring shawl. And that's it for hand knits today. I don't know if you guys can't really see, but I have a cat who's burying himself. Here he is. It's Brownie. He's made a few appearances on the show. Anyways, he's probably going to cause trouble. Okay, so moving on into finished objects. Brownie is kindly demonstrating my first finished object in the background here. This is the Boho Bunting. It was a crocheted pattern. It is a paid for pattern on Ravelry, and I'll pop in a few pictures so I can show a few close-ups of what the individual little buntings look like. They were super quick to make. They were really fun. It was kind of like a nice palette cleanser from knitting. I am by no means a crochet expert, but I really enjoyed making them. And the pattern is nice in that it gives you not only it's written originally, I think, in the UK terms, but they do give you the US terms as well. So I found that super helpful. For those of you who don't crochet, there is a difference. So if you ever do decide to pick up a crochet pattern, make sure that you understand which terminology is being used. I'm pretty happy with it. I just used some leftover cotton that I had. I don't know if it was like a Bernat handicrafter cotton kind of thing. And I found some wooden beads in a little jar of all of these crafty supplies that we had laying around, and they seem to match perfectly. So yeah, pretty happy with it. I'm hoping it's going to stay up. It's already fallen down on me once. So fingers crossed. And fingers crossed that Brownie doesn't get any urges to start playing with the tassels. So we'll see how that goes. So that is my first finished object. My second finished object is a knitting project, and I finished my beautiful Into the Woods socks. So these are a pattern by Melody Hoffman. They have these beautiful little trees. I did mine in super low contrast yarns, so they're kind of hard to see. The original, the original was done. You don't have to use 2 different colors. You can choose to just do it all in one color, and the trees just kind of stick out, which looks really pretty too. And I've seen another version, I think, that she did that was green, like a dark green background with white trees, which looked really kind of wintry and Christmassy. I just used these 2 Urso Yarn Co. colors. And I talked about this last time on the podcast, but there were several features of this pattern that I really appreciated and really liked. I'll mention them again now that I'm done, because I won't be talking about these again. But firstly, I can't remember if the pattern calls for it or if I just did this on my own. I might have done it on my own. I did a 1x1 twisted rib for the cuff. They're knit top down, by the way. And yeah, the trees, like I mentioned before, they're a little fiddly. They're a bit fiddly to make, but well worth it in the end. I think the look of them is so cute. Oh, Brownie's now jumped into my knitting. Okay. So something that I really liked about this is that she has you do right here. You can see there's some garter. There's a garter edge on both sides of the heel. So when you're doing the slip stitch heel, you just basically knit a few stitches at the end of each and every row. And that just makes picking up so much easier. You don't have to figure out where to pick up. You just go right in between the garter bumps, and it's super neat, I find. Neat and clean. Like it just looks really good. And she also has you pick up an extra stitch in between when you're picking up, and you knit through the back loop, and it pulls it on tight, and you don't get any of those holes that are so common when you're making the heels. So no holes. Really liked that. The one thing I'm not a fan of is the fact that did I carry? Trying to remember. I think I did carry the yarn. I may have carried the yarn for the trees in between each. So you do each branch level kind of individually without giving too much away. But when you get to the part where you're just working on the foot, so only the top of the foot has the trees, you essentially have to break your yarn after every tree branch row. So for each tree, you can see there's 3 branches, right? So you would knit across, break your yarn, do a bunch of rows, then come to your next one, start again, knit across, break your yarn. So you have to break your yarn numerous times. There's really no way that I can think of to carry it, because you're not really working in the round anymore. You're only doing half a foot, if that makes sense. Anyway, so there's a lot of ends to weave in, and I have not woven in my ends, truth be told. Yeah, so that's probably the only thing that I'm not a huge fan of. But again, I think it's worth it for the look. Really cute. So yeah, Into the Woods Socks by Melody Hoffman, Bee Mandarins. And I used, excuse me, Brownie, sitting on my project bag. I used 2 yarns by Urso Yarn Co., which is a Canadian indie dyer based out of Quebec, province of Quebec. It says Otterburn Park, Quebec. So I used their Petite Face Bleue, which is an 80% untreated BFL, 20% nylon. And that was the, latte. That was for the tree color. So this is the Blue Face Luster. And then, which was actually, it's very soft. And then the other one that I used, so like the background color, is called Mouton. And it is 80% Dorset, 20% nylon. And that is in the colorway Licorne, which means unicorn in French. And it is a much more rustic yarn. I don't mind that at all. Yeah, I have no problems with any like itch factor or anything like that. So yeah, I think these are going to be really nice and warm. Both yarns are non-superwash, but they do have nylon in them. Yeah, and I had purchased this, I think, 2 or 3 years ago now. It's been a while, but I was glad to finally put it to use. So there we go. Into the Woods Socks. And now maybe is a good time for me to give you an update. Unfortunately, I didn't bring them down to show you, but for those who have watched me for a little while, you may know that I knit a pair of socks called the Beatrix socks, which were a colorwork pair of socks out of, it was 100% wool, no nylon in it. So I knit these gorgeous socks, and they were going to be part of my no nylon sock project. Well, I'm sad to say that they have developed holes. So I finished knitting them in October. I can't remember exactly when. And by February they had holes. So I don't know. It's really unfortunate. And you put all this effort into socks, especially colorwork socks. These took me forever to make because I was really having trouble with my colorwork gauge. And so I finally finished them, and I was so proud. And I did, to be fair, wear the heck out of them. Like, I was wearing them every single day because I work in the basement down here, and it's chilly, and they were keeping my feet so nice and toasty warm. But yeah, they unfortunately got holes in them. And so yeah, I think I'm done knitting socks with 100% wool. It's not to say that I'm going to look for sock yarn that has nylon in it. I think I'm going to try experimenting with other blends. So I know there's a few out there. I have a few in my possession that I really do need to try and knit with and see how they hold up. So I have I have a skein of hemp wool blend that I was making these gorgeous socks out of with honeycomb on them, and they turned out too small. Anyway, so I have to rip them out, and I'm going to just reknit them as plain Jane socks, vanilla socks. But I also have a mohair wool blend that I'd like to try as well. And I'm just curious to see if they last longer, and if they do, I know, they're not the cheapest yarns, but it's worth it if they're going to last. And they're more environmentally friendly. So anyways, just giving you guys an update on that. Okay, so moving on. I have 2 finished objects. Okay, I have 2 whips and 2 new cast-ons to talk about. So we'll start with, for whips, Brownie, can I have this? He's chosen the most awkward place to lay. Okay. Okay, first off, when I had COVID, I have to say it really affected my brain. I felt really foggy and not able to work on complicated things. And I don't know if it's just, if I would have been that way, regardless if I was sick with a cold or whatever. It was just I really struggled. I struggled at work too. I found my ability to absorb information and concentrate in things was pretty much impaired. So I found it hard to work on my Marie Wallin. I did do some work on it. I'm working on the Chestnut, which is a cardigan by Marie Wallin. I should say, and I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to keep saying it, it's not size inclusive. It only goes up to an XXL, which is 48 to 50 inch bust. I think that's as large as it goes. So I just wanted to be upfront about that. It's not size inclusive. I'm making the extra large, which accommodates a 44 to 46 inch bust. I have a 45 inch bust. And here's a picture of the cardigan. So it's all over colorwork. It's knit flat in pieces and then seamed together. It's true Farrell. There's only 2 colors used per row. There's really only, I think, 4 or 5 rows where you have to actually catch floats that are longer than 5 stitches. So that makes it easier. But yeah, you're purling a lot of color work. I know some people have converted it to in the round, and I am super impressed by their abilities because I've never steeked a garment before. I have steeked a shawl, and only once. So anyways, it's on my to learn list so that in the future, should I choose to knit a colorwork cardigan, I can steek it. Even if the pattern calls for it to be knit flat. So, yeah. So I have finished the back piece, and I started weaving in ends. You can't tell. tons of ends, but so this is the back. Whoa. I made mine a little bit longer than the pattern called for. I think just because I wasn't paying attention, truthfully, and then didn't want to go back. So yeah, so it's really pretty. It's got 8 different colors of yarn in it. And so that's the back. And so now I have finished I have finished the front left. Is it the left piece? Yes. The front left. I'm sorry, it curls. Anyways, it's pretty much the same as the back. It's just narrower piece, right? And it's got some neck shaping and shoulder shaping. Okay, front left, working on the front right. Hey, oh, no. Drop it. So this little progress keeper shows you where I was last time. So I did do quite a bit. I probably could have had this thing done if I was under normal circumstances. I would have had it done. I would have been working on it a lot more. So I'm just about to start doing the shoulder shaping. Is it shoulder shaping? No, neck shaping first and then shoulder shaping at the top. So that's good. And then I just have the arms, the sleeves to make too. I think I'm going to knit them 2 at a time. I just feel like it'll make it go faster. Yeah, I think that's my plan. And here are the 8 colors. Sorry, they're so messy. And they're all Marie Wallin's British breeds. So it's her own yarn, which are 100% British wool made in the UK. A fine blend of wool spun in Devon from the Blueface Leicester, Exmoor, Wensleydale, and Zwartbles sheep breeds. And it's lovely to knit with. It smells so sheepy. So if you like sheepy yarns, I think you'll love this yarn. It's so delightful. And the colors are very heathered. I don't know if you can see like the depth of color in there. But yeah, they're gorgeous. So very much enjoying this process. And I should say this is being knit up as part of our make-along that's happening over on Instagram. We are hosting a Year of Marie Wallin Cal. You just have to use the hashtag. You have to have started your project after August 1st of last year, and the make-along will run until August 1st of this year at least. May end up extending it, depending on if I'm able to get mine done in time or not. But yeah, we have a great little group of people that are participating. You can follow along with the hashtag and see lots of works in progress and finished objects on Instagram. We also have a group over on Slack, which is an app similar to Discord, if you're familiar with that. Yeah, where we're just chatting away and sharing pictures and inspiration. And it's a great little group if you'd like to get involved with the Slack group. I will put a link down below, or feel free to message me over on Instagram and I will get you added. So yeah, that is my first work in progress. Okay, my second work in progress. Last episode, if you saw last episode, I cast on what I was calling probably my most epic project to date. It's a knitted dress. And not only is it a dress, it's knit in fingering weight, and I am having to use US2 needles to knit it. So it's going to take me quite a while. Okay. So the pattern is the Bressay dress, and it's a pattern by Gudrun Johnston. I mentioned this before. It's found in this book, Fair Isle Style, which is no longer in print. I don't know if you can still get copies on Amazon, but that's where I got mine from. I got a used copy on Amazon. I'll pop a picture in to show you what the finished dress looks like. I'm knitting it in the original called for yarn, which is Brooklyn Tweed Loft. Here's the tag. But I've changed the colors. So I'll show you what I have so far. So it's knit top down. in the round. It's got some Fair Isle at the top. So this is the yoke, basically. It's got some ribbing, and then I've finished the fun part already. I finished all the color work at the top. This little progress keeper, this little sheep here. My mom gave me that actually for Christmas. It's a sheep made out of, I don't know if you can see, the little yarn balls. Anyways, it's cute and it matches. So that's where I was last time I showed this. I was just finishing up the color work. So this is how much I've done. It's very slow going. And that's just the top. I still have to do the whole body. Oh my goodness. I don't know what I'm thinking, but anyways, it's great. It's really great for like conference calls and stuff because it's just mindless knitting. So I think I'm just about to separate for the sleeves. I've tried it on once. I'm going to try it on again. My gauge is completely off. So I'm going to try it on again and see and make sure that it's fitting okay. And I'm happy with it before I go further. So yeah, I am using, as mentioned, 4 different colors of Brooklyn Tweed Loft. I'm using Tartan, Iceberg, I think is the name of that one. Hayloft is the gold. And the main color is called Storm Cloud. And it's like this heathery gray brown. So yeah, I am enjoying it. Not sure what else to say. Oh, I will say again, I'm going to say this every time because I want to be very forthcoming and truthful about it. The pattern is totally non-size inclusive. I think I'm knitting the second largest size again. And so I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I know this book is older. I think it is from 2013. So maybe size inclusivity wasn't quite on the radar back then, but it is now. So I think Gudrun Johnston's made some changes in that respect. At least I hope so. Okay. So those are the 2 works in progress. Now I'll move on to my new cast-ons. So I don't know which one to start with. Doesn't really matter. Housed in my very own handmade project bag, which I'm so proud of because I do not really know how to sew. My mom helped me sew it over Christmas. She's a very good sewist. Okay, so housed in there is a summer knit. I was talking last time that I was starting to get into the mood for planning some summer makes because I don't really have all that many. And it's not that I'm opposed to knitting with wool in the summer. I'm not at all, except for on those extremely hot, humid days. Then I have difficulties. But yeah, I'll gladly knit anything really, any time of year. But this is more because I actually need summer garments in my life. So I cast on for the Deschain, which is a pattern by Leila Raven. I'll pop a picture in so you can see what the finished piece looks like. It's a really cute, oversized, lacy sweater. So I have finished the front panel. It looks ginormous, doesn't it? Oh my gosh. Stop that. Cat is grabbing at my strings. Yeah. It's definitely big enough. The problem is it's, you can't see. Maybe I can stand up and show you. I think it's going to be too short. Yeah, so if I put it up, yeah, it's like literally right under my boobs. So I think I'm gonna have to stop it. I'm gonna have to go back and I think I'm gonna have to like add in a few more of the lace repeats just to make it like, I don't mind if it's a little bit cropped, but it definitely have to get full coverage here. Yeah, So, and I have limited yarn, so I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough, but now I know I have enough to go back and add in a few more lace repeats. So yeah, that's the front. And then the back is, I think some people do the back with the lace as well. Sorry, so it's knit in 2 pieces. And then basically you just attach the shoulders and then seam up the sides, and then you pick up and do the sleeves. I'm going to keep mine as short sleeved. I know the original, I think, has, now I can't remember, was it 2/3 or 3/4? But I'm going to keep mine as short sleeves. And so this is how much I've done at the back. So yeah, it's this really pretty, I don't know if it's showing up. Yeah. I'm actually using 2 different colors of yarn. So I'm holding 2 strands together of Illimani Sabri. I'll show you, I kept them 2 in the skein. Oh, I think I'm dropping things over there. It's okay. I'm a hot mess today, guys. Feel out of practice. So this is the tag. It's Illimani Sabri. And it is 85% organic cotton, 15% baby alpaca. And like, look at that drape. It's super drapey. So these are the 2 colors that I'm using. I think, do they have names? No, this one's called color 84. It's like a more of a brown. And then this one is color 81 to 84. And I think it's like a combination of those 81, 82, 83, 84, the 4 colors. So it's like marled. And then when I put them together, they just blend in really nicely. And yeah, they're really soft. This is a very nice cotton. Very nice. And if I remember correctly, like these were a gift from my mom for a Christmas a few years ago. But I remember, I think, seeing this in stores, and it's not overly expensive, if I recall. It's quite affordable. And it's not, I don't find it hard on my hands. Like I know some cottons are really like a pain to work with because they're so hard. And there's no kind of stretch to them or whatever, but this is very nice and soft, and I'm very much enjoying it. So yeah, I have these 2 skeins left. I've already used up 2. So that's all I have. This is a total of 4, but like I'm holding them double. So, you know, anyways, I have enough to go back and add a bit more length, especially since I'm not doing any long sleeves. So my final new cast on is actually not a knitting project. It's a crochet project. So I don't know. Again, I don't know if you say hook on. I don't really watch crochet podcasts, but I should start. I'm really been enjoying the crochet, and especially when I was like not feeling well. I don't know what it is about the repetitive motions or movements. I found it really soothing. So I found myself doing a lot of crochet when I was ill. A lot more crochet than knitting, surprisingly. So I started a blanket. So I don't know if I can show you all of this, but let's show you how much as I can. So it's a Hexie Afghan, I guess. So this is, I am making this as part of Miga of the Skeins of Dreams podcast, her Blankets of Dreams Mal, I think it's called. I'll put the proper hashtag here that she is hosting over on her podcast and on Instagram. And yeah, I didn't really intend to start another blanket. I already have a scrappy Battenberg blanket that I've been working on, a crochet one as well. But I don't even know. I think, oh, I know what it was. I was just scrolling through Instagram as one does, and I came across this picture. I'll pop it in so you can see what I'm talking about. And I thought it was really pretty. And even though it's like, I wouldn't call it scrappy because there's definitely coordination to it. There's like the colors are all the same. There's like a set number of colors and they're just repeated over and over again. But I just was really drawn to it and I thought it was really beautiful. So I thought, well, what do I have? What do I have in my stash that I can do that with? So I went stash diving and I had I've had these 6 skeins of, I think it's 6, yep, worsted weight 100% wool from Knit Picks called Simply Wool. And each one is kind of a different shade, and it's named after a different sheep. Whether they all come, like they come from that, if it's single source, I don't actually know. But anyways, I've been trying to put these skeins to use for so long, and I was like, I could never seem to find the right project for them. So this is it. I just took them all and I was like, okay, I'm just going to make a Hexie blanket. So I will not go through all the different colors, but there's actually 9 colors, I think. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Yes, sorry, there's 9 colors, and I had 8 skeins of worsted weight Simply Wool. Sorry, blanked out there. So yeah, there are different shades of browns and kind of heathery grays. And then I have 2 patterns, classic wool worsted in there as well. Like this darkest brown and one of the other one of the other browns. I think it's this one here is a patterns, the natural mix that I actually used for when I was making my cowl, winter light cowl. So yeah, I've really been enjoying this, and I don't know how big it's gonna go. I'm just gonna basically like use up all the yarn that I have, at least the Simply Wool worsted. I might have some leftovers of the patterns, and that's fine. Yeah, I'm just gonna go till I run out. And what was I gonna say about this? I am kind of likening this to the planning of this blanket to like a Sudoku puzzle. If you guys are familiar with the Sudokus, I'll show you what I mean. So this is a real rough sketch showing I've assigned each color a number. And then what I'm trying to do is make sure that, no color is repeated in each row. But not only that no color is repeated adjacent to each other, and also like in a flower motif. So like if I pick a center square, all those colors that surround it, that touch that square, are different. It sounds complicated. I know it probably is. I make things way more complicated than I need to. I just wanted to make sure that the colors were spread out evenly, so that in the end, the blanket, you're not on like, all the darks didn't end up in one section and your eyes like drawn to that section. Anyways, I don't know. I'm crazy. This is why I can't do scrappy projects, because I overthink everything. Okay. Anyways, I know there's others out there. You've commiserated with me. You're not fans of them either, because you just can't do it. So anyway, to each their own. So that is the blanket that I'm making. And it's not like, there's no official blanket pattern. Okay, I lie. The one that I showed you, the inspiration picture, has a pattern to go along with it. However, I looked at it and I was like, I didn't purchase it because it's for purchase. And I was like, it's just a hexagon. Like surely there's a pattern out there for a hexagon, like a crocheted hexie that I can just use to slap together. And I just didn't feel like, why should I pay for that? That seems like, I don't know. Anyways, I found this tutorial by Attic 24, I think they're called. I'll put a link down below. And I just used the tutorial on how to make an individual hexie thing. And then she actually has also instructions on, I think it's on a blog. So I found it on Ravelry, but it links to a blog. And on the blog, she shows you how to join as you go, which is what I've been doing as well. And yeah, that's what I used. So very happy with that. So that's it for, I guess I can talk about this one too. So I mentioned I'm doing a scrappy Battenberg blanket as well, using my leftover fingering weight yarns. Actually, they're all, They're not sock yarns. I keep all my leftover sock yarns for socks. I've had so many. It's ridiculous. Like the ones with nylon in them, I mean. So this is actually my leftover singles. So they're all single ply, 100% wool. Because I don't know what else to do with them. Honestly, like they're not super, like I wouldn't want to make a garment out of them because I'd worry that they're just not as strong because they're just a single ply. Anyways, I have all of these squares that I've made. I keep them in this jar. And I just finally went ahead and ordered, I was looking for affordable, or as affordable as can be, yarn in a cream color that I could use to, do the alternating squares with. And yeah, it was a little trickier than I expected it to be, because I'm like, it just doesn't need to be fancy yarn here. I didn't want acrylic. I do want to keep it all wool because that's what I'm using. I want to keep it all the same. So in the end, I ended up, after exploring all the different options, I ended up ordering from Acme Fibers, which I have ordered from before, and they're in Canada. I heard about them from Selma of Little Big Knits podcast, which, by the way, is an amazing podcast. If you haven't checked her out, I don't know where you've been hiding because she's pretty well known, but yeah, fabulous podcast. Yeah, so she mentioned Acme Fibers the other day and that clicked, and I was like, yes, I should check because they carry undyed yarns, which is great if you're into hand dyeing and you want to try your hand at dyeing some yarn. They pretty much only exclusively carry undyed yarns, and they do have a few commercial sock yarns, but mostly it's undyed stuff. So I got this. I got 10 skeins of single ply merino. The cool thing about Acme is that they have kind of like the more you buy, the more you save kind of deal. So I can't remember what the numbers are, but basically let's say like if you buy, if you spend like $100, you get like 20% off or something like that. It's like, but you have to buy the same yarn. I think that's how it works. Actually, I'm not sure because I only bought the one yarn. So, but that's how it worked for me. So I ended up getting a pretty good discount, and the yarn was pretty affordable to begin with. It was, $14.50, I think, a skein, and it is 115 grams. So they're bigger than like a normal 100-gram skein. So yeah, I don't know that I'm going to need all 10. It seems like a lot. I don't think I'm making like a full size, like queen size blanket here. So I may have some extras, which is cool. And I might try my hand at some natural dyeing because I've been saving up all my avocado pits and avocado skins. After watching Cabin Boy Knits, they had a little tutorial on how to dye yarn with avocado pits and skins. And so I've been saving them in my freezer for about a year. Hopefully they're still good. I don't know what the shelf life or freezer life is. But anyways, that's my hope, is that I can use them this summer and give some natural dyeing a go. I've never done it before. And the reason that I've chosen to start with avocado is because you don't need to mordant your yarn. I guess it has some kind of something in it that's like a natural mordant, so you don't have to worry about that. So that was very appealing to me. It's a pretty straightforward process. But yeah, I'll put the link down below if you're interested, if you have any interest in trying your hand at avocado dyeing. So yeah, that was so that's an acquisition. It literally just came today, and I'm only talking about it because I talked about the blanket and I'm planning on making the blanket. I've decided that I'm no longer going to talk about acquisitions, just random things that I buy. I know some people like it, some people don't. I just feel like I'm just going to stop doing it. So unless I'm going to be using that in a project right then and there, I'm not going to be talking about acquisitions so much anymore. Unless it was a gift and then I want to thank somebody. Then I'll definitely say thank you. Okay. I think that is it for all of the crafting talk today. In terms of life stuff, like I said, we're pretty ill. My daughter unfortunately ended up catching COVID from a friend of hers, and my daughter got over it in, I think it was like 2 days, and she was back to normal, like no problem. She still had to quarantine for a total of 10 days, I think it was, because she has only had her first dose of the vaccines. Oh, anyway, there's all these rules. So she still had to stay home. And then in the meantime, I got sick, and then John got sick. And John got over his 2-3 days maybe. And then I'm the only one who the symptoms keep on lingering for whatever reason. Anyways, you guys don't want to hear about that. But so I feel like I'm better now. I still have a bit of a cough, but like I said, but I'm doing better. Have energy again, which is fantastic. And I took a little walk around. Most of our snow is gone. We still have a little bit in the backyard where it's kind of more shaded. Hasn't melted yet. But yeah, things are starting to pop up and I'm getting really excited. So I can see my tulips are starting to come up and my daffodils already. And yeah, no flowers yet. I'm seeing all these people posting pictures of flowers in their garden and I'm so envious. But yeah, it's not time for us yet. We're a little bit north, so it takes a little bit longer before our flowers come out, but it's so worth it when they do. Oh. What else? Really not much going on. I can't even think of anything. Like, I haven't done anything. I was in quarantine for, we didn't leave the house for 12 days. So there's really not a lot going on. But I'd love to hear what you guys are doing. Have you been doing any crafting, any making, any gardening? Any baking? I'd love to know what you guys have been up to. So please do leave a comment down below and share what you've been up to in this past month or so. And I think I'll leave it there. And I hope everyone has a wonderful next 3 weeks. I should be back in 3 weeks, knock on wood. And and you get lots of crafting and making done. So yeah, I'll talk to you in 3 weeks. Bye, everybody.